Thanks for joining us on tonight's show. How much should you spend on your e-mountain bike?
Well, all your money, of course, that's the right answer. And we're talking tyres, training and travel, trying to answer your questions.
And we revisit the home of mountain bikes in Marin County.
Marin, if you're American.
Well, you're on your way the next week.
Going there next week, yeah. So see you later, Steve.
See you later. Let's crack on with the news then. It seems there was an e-bike festival in Dortmund over the weekend. They had dirt tracks amidst all the e-bike paraphernalia there. Guido Chug was there riding his Husqvarna around the track.
Looked very cool, nice little race in the city. I'm convinced this is the future of racing e-bikes. There's loads of stuff in city centres, supercrosses, trials, all sorts of cool stuff.
I'm not a crowd man myself, I'd rather be out in the woods. But what I did notice was Guido Chug, ex-world mountain bike champion, was wearing his rainbow stripes. Do you agree with that?
I don't agree with that. He's four-cross world champion, he's riding his e-bike. But
okay,
who am I to say?
Moving on to world champions. Now, I saw you had enduro motorcycle star Paul Bolton on last week's show using his e-bike for training. Now, I saw that ex-world superbike champion Sylvain Guintoli, yeah, he was at an enduro MTB race in Wales a couple of weeks ago and he got second place, whereas last weekend, just gone, he was at a MotoGP race on his Suzuki and he got third.
That is amazing. It's
and
great.
I think what's funny is the fact that the mountain bikers shy away, no, we're not on our e-bikes for training, whereas the motorcyclists, they're like, we love it.
I think there's a massive crossover from motorcyclists and mountain bikes riding e-bikes. I think it's great to see. He's riding a Thoc, so same as Tony Bow.
That's Thoc's an Italian brand.
Yeah.
It was started off by a guy called Stefano Migliorini, who was actually second at the first ever world downhill race in France in 1993. Moving on from the pros, I've just come back from holiday in North Wales. Been with my wife and my 14-year-old daughter.
Holiday in North Wales.
And the dog, yeah. And do you know what? We went and rode Penmachno, which is an 18k route, and we rode together all day.
Yep.
And if we'd been there on normal bikes, we'd been spread out by miles.
And you get out into the wilds there, don't you? Lovely. Yes, I've got a bike coming for my wife to chuck my child on the back soon, so e-bikes are for everyone.
Had an amazing amount of feedback off you guys over the last few weeks. This one's in relation to travelling with batteries, which we talked about on last week's show. This is from Norman Crook. Don, can I just move that before we continue? Empty coffee?
Yeah.
As Neil mentioned, the bicycle industry couldn't spell standardisation. A standard battery with adapters to suit most brands would simply do the trick. Adapter would be a set of contacts and a battery holder.
That's a lovely idea. It's never going to happen. Bike companies are never going to agree on it. They want to change their frame designs. That's where the battery's going to sit. So to get a standard one, it's just never going to happen. I'm afraid. I could be proved wrong, but I doubt it very much.
Lovely idea, Norman.
Tories Trails has been on. He says about tyres. So he does a lot of enduro dirt biking, so motocross. Okay. Yeah. So normally with motorbikes, off-road motorbikes, you get a wet tyre for soft conditions. There's actually hard compound and the other way around. So for soft conditions, you have a hard compound tyre, which makes sense. That is how the off-road motorbike tyres work.
Yeah.
Is it the same for mountain bikes and e-bikes?
If you think about when we used to ride downhill, the first wet weather tyres were the Michelin spikes, and they were actually quite a hard compound tyre.
Yeah.
And they were narrow, and they really dug in, and they bit through the mud, and they gave you some really good anchorage in the braking. But I think on an e-bike, you need a bigger volume tyre simply because of the increased weight on those bikes. So I think I think you should be looking at maybe a tyre like the Schwalbe Magic Mary, which is good in all conditions, and you can actually get different compounds in that to suit. So I think a mud tyre can actually be terrain specific.
I think there might be some legs in this idea that you have a softer tyre for hard compact dirt, but I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. And finally, this one from Ray Verhelst, who reminds us that actually EMBN is a global audience and that there's different speeds and rules and regulations in different countries, no more so than in the US, where it's quite different to the UK and also within states as well. So
yeah, absolutely right, Ray. It's difficult for us because there are so many different regulations from different countries, different states. So we do try and cover that a little bit, but you're right for calling us out occasionally for doing this.
Yeah.
In the UK, it's 50 miles an hour pedal assist. In the US, 20 miles per hour. Yeah. But we are talking about pedal X, not talking about S pedal X. So that's what we're covering.
Yeah, thanks for getting in touch. But yeah, you're right. It would actually take us all show to go through and point that out on each country.
Big question here, Steve. How much should you spend on an e-bike?
Oh, it's a gigantic question. I think the bigger question is how do you measure value on an e-bike? Because I think it's quite different to conventional bikes. On non-e-bikes, the money is in expensive gears and parts and lightweight bikes, whereas on an e-bike it's quite different. On a conventional bike, it's actually a game of diminishing returns. Once you get past that £3,000 mark, you're going into kind of 100 grams here, 100 grams there. But it's not quite like that on an e-bike. And I think on e-bikes, we've not yet got to where the value is. I mean, just look at materials.
Well, this sounds complicated, Steve. Shouldn't it just be like a funometer? And the more fun it is, that's the one you should buy.
No, let's not dodge the subject here. Let's start with materials. I mean, carbon or alloy for starters. Now you're talking about on a normal bike, about 200 grams difference between a carbon bike and an alloy bike. Do you need carbon on an e-bike for starters?
Aesthetically, they look nice. I would rather pick battery life, integration. I'm throwing in software in the future if you're looking at what bike's got the best software. I'm not sure we're quite there yet, but maybe.
And I think the big picture here is that the e-bike technology, it's all still evolving. So the true value of an e-bike is constantly changing at the minute. You know, you've got materials, you've got integration. I mean, what is it for you that constitutes high value on an e-bike?
For my 2 cents, it's geometry, so how the bike rides, and reliability. So has it got good brakes and good tyres that are going to last me when I ride this bike all day long?
Yeah.
But also things like integration, like displays. I want a really small display. Some people want a massive one, but those things.
You don't want those highly strung components.
No.
Right? They're gonna.
And I don't really care about carbon or alloy. That's lower down the list for me.
As long as this feels right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then it comes to brands. For example, one brand would offer performance in terms of lightweight, whereas another brand would come with a long-range battery. So it's very different. For example, a Focus Jam, 18 kilos, whereas a 378 watt-hour battery. There's so many bikes out there.
But you can get good value bikes. So Halfords in the UK, if you don't know, it's almost like Walmart. So they sell sort of motoring goods, but also bikes. You can get a hardtail for 850 quid. It's not mid-drive, it's got a rear drive motor, but it's a mountain bike.
And if you've got the right trails, a hard, on hard pack, it's fine, right?
Or you could spend 2,700 quid for a full suspension Voodoo with a Bosch motor, drop a post. I think that's a pretty sorted bike for that sort of money.
Yeah, and at the same time, you can spend 12,000 euros on a BMC Trailfox amp.
Yeah.
Or 10,000 euros on a Pivot Shuttle, which is at the opposite ends of the spectrum.
That's a massive range,
full
isn't it?
carbon, but some people would want to spend that money just for the sake of spending that money.
You could buy 10 of those Voodoo bikes.
I think the bottom line when it comes to the true value of an e-bike, I think these are my points. Geometry, range, weight, materials, integrated or external battery, and finally the parts, the gears, the wheels, the tyres. They're all really, really important parts of an e-bike.
So here's a poll. Go up there and let us know what you think is the most important.
Right, let's get into the tech this week. I've seen this Bulls bike. It's 180mm travel. I can't quite get my mouth around the name.
It's the Bulls E-Core Evo EN Di2 275 Plus.
But the main thing is it's got potential for using one 375 watt battery or two by this kind of
that's quite
down
nice.
tube.
So if you have a big day out, you can bolt another battery in.
Yeah, so we've just been talking about how do you attach value to an e-bike. So in many people's eyes, having a potential for having two batteries is one way of doing it. But I'm not sure.
I attach a lot of value on having the shortest name possible.
Bulls E-Core Evo EN Di2 27.5 Plus.
Yeah,
What bike have you got, Don?
Specialized Evo.
Right.
That's a lot of characters.
Right, should we get into climb of the week? Can I just say thanks for the mockery of my e-bike climb failure last week's show.
Don't worry about it.
Before I mention that, Martin would definitely like us to mention the EMBN merchandise.
Nice, yeah.
Before we move into climb of the week.
Got a hat.
Hats, tops, t-shirts, hoodies, the lot. But this one's from Piers, who's actually a designer of e-bikes, and this is his climb over in Germany a couple of weeks ago.
I've seen Piers hanging out with Sam Pilgrim, the high bike rider.
Good person to hang out with in terms of skills.
Now, steps is the way forward if you want to get on climb of the week by the looks of it. We need to find some steeper steps.
No, you need to find some steps, and you need to send us your steps in so we can see them. Actually, it doesn't matter about steps, banks, outside, inside, the lot. Just chuck them to us and we'll get them on the show. Now, this week's Where in the World, I've decided to stop at Marin County, Don, because you're going there next week. And there's this picture in from Gary, who lives in Marin County, and his pivot shuttle on the slopes of Mount Tamalpais. Tamalpais?
Marin County, Mount Tamalpais. It's the home of mountain biking, Steve.
Well, so they say. I reckon home of mountain biking is actually in Wales, but yeah, that's for another day. Isn't it funny how far we've come in mountain bikes in 40 years? You know, you've got those clunkers, and now here we have with a integrated Shimano battery and motor and carbon fibre, carbon wheels.
And I'll be telling you just how far we're going, because I'm going after Marin County. We're going to Sea Otter.
Nice.
It's the bike festival, seeing all the new bike tech, mountain bikes, e-bikes. So keep your eyes peeled for videos coming up next week.
Tune in.
Where's the bike vault?
It is the bike vault indeed, and Martin Ashton sends in his best wishes. He can't be with us this week because he is growing his beard.
As he should.
Absolutely.
The first bike. What is this?
It's a crashed plane, Don.
Well, it is.
It's a crashed plane. I don't know where, because I'm really sorry. I've lost the email from whoever sent this in, but please get in touch and we'll get your name back on the show. But it's a Focus bike, Focus e-bike.
Yeah. It's got a big saddlebag on it.
Yeah. Nevertheless.
Well, it's nice.
Just nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
Really?
I like the picture. It's a cool picture.
Right. Moving on, and this one's from Doug Grenell, aka the Good Bike Doctor in Atherton, Queensland, Australia.
Oh, very cool.
Beautiful sunset or sunrise. What is it?
Love it. I think it's good.
I can't work out what bike. Is that a Merida?
I reckon.
It's a Merida.
Hit the
I reckon Doug is quite tall. Look at the height of that seat down there. Super nice.
It looks quite small in the picture.
Yeah.
Michelle Moret from Bay, French Pyrenees.
I mean, it's super nice anyway. What a location.
That's cool, doesn't it?
Yeah,
That bike
nice high
suits
bike.
it. Green and orange high bike.
Is that a high bike 150 or high bike 180?
Oh, I think that's a 150 all mountain.
Yeah. Nice, super nice, right?
Gotta be. Right, what's this? This is Bryce from Nice.
Bryce from Nice. Fantastic. With some snow.
Or is it Breeze from Nice?
Breeze from Nice.
That's good. Same as my bike, so it's flipping lovely. I know that.
Yeah. We're not going for a third super nice in the truck, sure.
Why not?
Okay, there it is. Ooh.
Another one. David Filler in Truckee, California.
Truckee, that's between San Francisco and Reno, isn't it?
Probably.
Truckee.
Looking at the snow.
You'll be there next week.
Yeah.
In the snow.
Why not? Can't give them all super nice, Steve.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Ettio Crocetti Marzotto from San Francisco. Crikey, there's a bit of a
I'm going there.
San Francisco theme. This is not deliberate, I can tell you.
Cube stereo.
But yeah,
that's great.
it does, doesn't it? You'll be there next week.
Although there's a new Cube stereo.
And Phil will be there next week as well.
Yeah.
Look at him smiling down there. Like, Phil, look at him smiling.
I'm going to be snobby, Steve, and say that I prefer the newer Cube than this one, so I'm afraid it's only a nice from me.
Okay, go and get the new one. Francois Spina.
Yep, Merida.
I think this is from Ecuador.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's slack on putting locations on this week. Sorry.
I like it. I like it.
You like it? Okay, let's move on.
Nice. Ooh,
Greg Tyndall.
Perched his Specialized Levo up there.
In Leicester. Is it Leicester? We don't know.
Looks like America.
But is it a nice or a super nice?
It feels like you need to be careful. I don't want your bike to fall over and go in that pond.
Ooh, good point. He's going to crack the side of his frame as well if he lets that tip there.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah. Phil Lambert. This looks like it's in North Wales to me. Or yeah, that's got to be Anglesey in the background, surely.
I don't know what bike it is. That's why.
It's a Bergamont, right?
Is it a Bergamont?
I think it's a Bergamont.
Trailster.
Yeah.
Don't recognise it.
Yeah. It looks wet.
Does look wet. It's nice.
Phil. Oh, and finally, Robin Hansel. Hansel. On the runway in...
Don't know, but that is flipping lovely. What a picture.
Yeah, I think that's on the runway in Carassus, right?
I love it. Got to hit the super nice.
Super nice. Great. Hey folks, thanks for coming along on the ride this week. If you want to see more EMBN videos, there's a great one by the Don, and seeing as it's spring and you want to get out there training, it's a great video. So hit on that one just there. And while you're on the subject of the Don, he's also got a really good video on doing some really scary drop-offs and stuff, which can be found obviously at the top of the screen right there.
Give us a thumbs up, Steve. Hey, give us a thumbs up.